honor to meet you. Thank you, one, for everything that you've done for this community, and two, for the positive outlook that you share with everyone.
Thank you.
This Patient Ambassador Award, I'm curious, you mentioned it's been 8 years since you were diagnosed.
Yes.
How has your outlook changed since that day that you got that notice?
Oh my gosh. Funnily enough, this has been my hardest year out of the last 8 years. And you would not expect that, right? Because it's sort of like, you would think the day of diagnosis is the worst. But actually, the day of diagnosis was the relief. Because the thing that had tortured me for so many years, I had a name for it. I wasn't crazy. I'm lucky in that I have dermatomyositis and we have treatment. So for me, I was actually really happy. And I remember taking my first dose of medication on my 51st birthday. But I think what has happened for me over the years is that I have to live with it. And I know you understand.
I totally
but it's like,
understand it.
The fun part is the diagnosis, but then it's like, how do I live with it? How do I remain a mother? How do I work? I have not been able to work very much. And that's where the grief set in. That's where sort of redefining, like, what's important to me now. It's very different. So, and basically every day is different. It's not over yet.
No.
And that's the heartbreak.
Right. And it's the ebbs and flows. I recently learned the term dynamic disability.
Yes.
And I was like, thank
That's
you.
me.
That's me. You're like, I live in this world where some days I can't get out of bed, and some days I can run 90 seconds and I'm so happy.
Yes, exactly. But still, I feel like I've always had goals for myself. I've always had things that I really want to do that are important to me. But having goals in a differently abled body is quite something. And so some people might say I'm stubborn.
I think we all have a little bit of that.
But myositis has really, I've had to be more flexible.
Right. And it's hard. It's hard when there's things
really
that you want to do, and you know that there was a point in time where your body would let you do that.
Easily.
And now it's not something you get to control.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I don't think it's stubborn. I can't imagine anyone comes into the world that we're living in and would not be called stubborn.
Yeah. I sort of feel like the more I go with the flow, the easier all of it is.
Yes.
Treatment, doctor visits, but when I have an idea in my head,
I feel this so much. I know exactly where you're going with this. You can't let it go.
Can't let it go.
Right.
So,
I'm curious what you have found to be the biggest challenge with sharing your story, because what we have is so rare, but it is also so complex. And there's no 1 minute elevator pitch.
That's right.
If only there were, right?
Right. I think the hardest part is that if I put makeup on and a dress, I don't look so sick.
You look great. You look great.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and in your head you're going, I feel terrible.
No, but everything hurts. I think that's the hardest part is explaining the way that it affects everything about me, from head to toe. There's no aspect of my body, my mind, my soul, my life that has not been impacted. And so when people see me out and they think, oh, you must be doing better. Are you better now? It's like, I'm having a good minute.
Yes.
Minute.
Mm-hmm.
Not even a good day.
Right.
And I think what's helped me is to describe things to people little by little, not all at once. Do you know what I mean?
I totally know what you mean.
I'm spoon feeding them.
Yes.
So, I might say, for instance, my dermatomyositis, I hope I can say this. Okay.
Yeah.
My dermatomyositis affects my shoulders, my thighs, the usual suspects, but also my swallowing. So I have had periods where I don't want to go out to meet a friend, or because I'm so afraid of, God forbid, choking.
Right.
And I think, but being able to say, I would love to see you, but right now, the way that my myositis is behaving, it's probably better if you just come and sit with me.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So I just kind of
Setting those boundaries is so important.
I try to finesse it a little bit.
But it's hard because we want to do all the things.
I want to do everything, but I finally did OT this year.
Okay. And what did you learn about it? About yourself?
Have you
and about
done it?
I have done a little bit of OT. I found it a little frustrating, I won't lie.
Did you?
Well, because I want to just be able to do it. I don't want, I know this sounds
You don't want to
so
change
stubborn.
anything?
I know it sounds, when I said I wasn't stubborn, you know. I get it. I completely understand it. A doctor told me during one of my hospitalizations last year, and I was so appreciative of this. He said, you need to prepare that every day is going to be your worst, and you need to hope that it's not. But it's exhausting. You're like, how many precautions can I put in place?
Right. Well, you know, I sort of feel like I'm less afraid now because I've seen what this thing can do.
Exactly.
But it doesn't mean that I don't. Some days I wake up, I call them the 2 a.m. scaries. I wake up at 2 a.m. and the overwhelm, because we don't have a cure.
Yes, that word incurable can really keep you up.
Yes. And when you look at your prescriptions and it says indefinite, or the doctor's notes and it says indefinite, that's really hard to take. I don't know. Every day is different. I'm trying my very best to do the best that I can. And with OT, what I loved about it is that my therapist has helped me. If I tell her I have a goal, I'm coming to Baltimore, I'm going to be very active, she helped me start planning 6 weeks ago.
Right.
Because when she first mentioned pacing, I laughed.
You're like,
See?
what is that?
No, I said, do you mean pacing as in a race? I don't run.
Right.
I mean, I had no idea about pacing.
Yes.
It's a thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm learning that.
Yeah.
That started this year.
Well, and what I also think, too, is when you are diagnosed with something and you hear the word incurable, you mentioned, you know, not caring about certain stuff. There's a lot of stuff that gets left by the wayside.
Okay.
Because you're like, I don't have capacity for this.
Right.
This is not on my list of important stuff. And I'm curious for you, you mentioned there's so much you want to do. What is on that list?
I'll talk more about that, you know, later on tonight. But I think the thing is, for me, this part always makes me cry.
Oh. And crying is okay.
I think I've been a mother. I'm 58, and I've been a mother since I was 25. And there are my own children. There are other children that I really love, and I've always wanted to be there with them, obviously. But the thing that I think is different in 2024 for me is I think of my life in its value and its importance and my dreams because they're mine. Not because I'm someone's mother,
Right.
wife, sister, daughter, but because I believe in God. God put breath in these lungs, and it's time for me to think, what do I want for me? And to not always sort of cushion everything with, I'm someone's mother, I have to live. I'm someone's wife. It's like, no, I love my life because it is mine. Because it's mine. And so simple things like I've always wanted to go on a pilgrimage, maybe to Spain. I really want to learn how to do a cartwheel. This is very high on my list. And so when I go to PT, my therapist, Connor, we work on everything with the goal that at some point I am weeping on camera. I want to do a cartwheel. And this is the thing about the cartwheel. And I have to thank my neuromuscular doctor. It's not the cartwheel, but I watched my daughter one day in my backyard doing the cartwheel, and I live in Southern California, so the sky's always blue and the sun is shining, and it was how free she looked and how light in her body, right? And that's how I want to feel. And so my neuromuscular doctor said, let's not do a cartwheel, but what are the things that will give you that feeling? And that's my job this year, and that's my job next year. Those are the things I'm thinking about. And right now, one of the things that makes me feel like I'm doing a cartwheel is that I'm here. And I'm here with my myositis family. I'm here with people who understand. And that feels great.
I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that we got to meet, and I'm so grateful for everything that you've done for this community and that you'll continue to do. And I want nothing more than for you to find your cartwheel.
Thank
honestly.
you. And you too.
Thank you. Yes. I'm
More
not going
than
to
a
try a
96
cartwheel. It's not going to happen, but I'm going to work on figuring out what that is for me.
Yes, right. It's the feeling we're going after. That's amazing.
You said it perfectly.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being
Thank
here.
you for having
for joining
me.
us. And
my pleasure.
and
My honor.
I wish you just the best.
Thank you. Same to you. Let's stay in touch.
Yes, absolutely.